She's got long legs and short shorts, but she ain't got no teeth. She wears a red bandana on her head and she smiles so sweet. She'll steal your heart, a very first sight should rip apart your soul. She'll torture your mind and waste your time and drag you down the road. 'Cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel. 'Cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. Ashley Feller here. I'm a third-generation Panama City native, musician, and I'm also a singer-songwriter. I grew up in historic St. Andrews, and this week I'll be sharing community events for the upcoming week of July 8th through the 14th. You're in for a big treat, folks, because we've got Sandi Wolf here from the Little Village to talk to us about their humble beginnings. Have you ever heard of the Oyster King? I haven't, but I sure wouldn't mind meeting him. This week's Old News segment is a short headline about the freeing of the Oyster King, and it was published in the St. Andrews Bay News, July 10th in 1928. I hope y'all are staying dry out there while you're trying to reason with hurricane season. I've got a great show in store for y'all this week, so get comfy, grab yourself a nice cold beer, maybe a dozen oysters, and enjoy the show. So y'all, I just heard about a new exhibit at the Panama City Publishing Museum featuring master printer Buddy West and fellow printers Bonnie Blue, Celeste Hansel, Deborah Kivett, Robbie Fehrenbach, Shirley Howell, and more. This is only in July, and it's open Tuesday through Friday, 1 to 5:30, and Saturdays from 9 to 1. Make sure you tell all your salty friends about it and go check it out. Also, don't forget, you can take the free historic walking tour with Ellen on Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. The group meets at the Panama City Publishing Museum, which is located at 1134 Beck Avenue. Getting us back on track to Thursday night, which is tonight, there's singer-songwriter open mic night, and it's hosted by Stephen Myers at the library from 6 to 10. Stephen provides the backline, and you bring the songs. This is every Thursday evening. Do you love great songwriting? How about fancy finger picking? The folks at Little Village sure do, and it's the perfect setting to relax with your friends and family, and their shows are always free and family and pet friendly. Join the Little Village people for live music with Chuck Foster and Gary Nichols this Friday night. Grab a drink from the bar, shop the unique gifts from the boutique, and feast on some tacos from Finn's Island-style grub. Little Village has the relaxing vibe that you are craving. The market at St. Andrews is every Saturday in the lot next to the Shrimp Boat, beginning at 8 a.m. There's a great variety of fantastic arts and crafts vendors, food trucks, and live music that's brought to you by Floriopolis, and it begins at 10 a.m. This week, the featured musician is one of my new favorite singer-songwriters, and his name is Tyler Reese. If you've got little ones, why don't you take them to Gypsy Beach Treasure Creations this Saturday morning at 10 to paint amazing jellyfish? It's $20 per child and all supplies are included. Call Kathy at 904-451-3071 to register. And you never know, there might be a space available. And if you've ever wanted to make stained glass, then here's your chance to learn the basic techniques of creating your very own. This is also at Gypsy Beach, and it's from 1 to 5. And those who sign up for the class will be making a beautiful conch shell with your choice of colors. It's $75 per person, and all supplies are included. Again, call Kathy to register for this class today at 904-451-3071. This Saturday night at 6 p.m., join New York Times best-selling author Michael Lister at the library for a book launch party and an evening of live music. Michael will be signing copies of his new mystery thriller, Out for Blood, as well as his other titles. Lister will be joined by other authors who will also sign and talk about their latest books. Bliss Street, featuring Denise DeNaro and Michael Lister, will provide the music. Don't miss this fun evening of words and music. Alice's on Bayview is just the place to enjoy Sunday brunch. They've got great dishes on their menu and for a great price. If I were to go to Alice's for brunch, I'd start with the $5 Bloody Mary, and I'd ask them to make it extra spicy for me. And then I'd have to have their shrimp and grits, because that's my favorite thing on their menu. Grouper Imperial is the best item on the menu at Uncle Ernie's, and it's so easy to see why. They source only the freshest, never frozen, wild-caught Gulf grouper from Greg Abrams Seafood. And with daily deliveries, they guarantee that you won't find grouper fresher than theirs. So this Sunday, plan for a date night with your sweetheart and go listen to beautiful music played by the lovely Brooke Washore this Sunday evening starting at 7 p.m. Monday is Little Fest at the Tap Room, hosted by Kirk and Cheyenne. This is a weekly showcase of local songwriters, and it begins at 6 p.m. in the courtyard of the Tap Room. The Tap Room features 54 craft beers and is just the place to chase away the Monday blues. Every Wednesday, Floriopolis invites the public to visit and create artwork for the next Art in Public Spaces exhibit, which is displayed on Janie's fence. The upcoming theme is boats and water, and the current art displayed features reptiles and amphibians and features artwork by Silas Dyer, Kelly Dyer, Jared Wampler, J.A. Robinson, Heather Parker, Jim Hayton, Maverick Knowlton, Krista Eggleston, and more. All of us at Floriopolis would like to thank our generous sponsors, Brad Stevens, Crystal Overend, Ellen Maplesden, Pat Neese, and Denise Nyland. This coming Wednesday night is the Floriopolis Creatives Meetup and Acoustic Jam, hosted by me. We meet at 6 p.m. for a gathering of all types of creatives. So if you're a poet, a visual artist, a filmmaker, a dancer, or a musician, this meetup is for you, and all are welcome. You're welcome to bring snacks and your drink of choice. We do have plenty of chairs available. We'll spend the first part of the meetup getting acquainted with each other, and we can have a group discussion. Next, we can split off into smaller groups for creative free time. Musicians are encouraged to bring their instruments for an acoustic jam session, and there's plenty of room to write, draw, color, dance, or you could even play a creative game or make up a game. Bear in mind, Floriopolis is only 9 feet wide, but there's additional space outside. I hope to see y'all there. Also, I would like to wish Callie Speck a wonderful happy birthday, which is also next Wednesday, July 14th, and I'd like to thank her for creating a fundraiser for Floriopolis on GoFundMe. Kelly, it's salty locals like you that keep St. Andrews a wonderful place to be. Happy birthday, and I hope you are having the time of your life in Hawaii. Wednesday night is Comedy Open Mic Night at the library, and this is also a free event hosted by Panama City Comedy, Jason Hedden, and Destination Panama City, and it starts at 8 p.m. There's also line dancing with Janine at the House of Bourbon every Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. I know I'm a little early on this one, but you might want to mark your calendars because you'll want to join Panama City Quality of Life July 16th and 23rd for Movies in the Bark at Oaks by the Bay Park. They'll be featuring A Dog's Purpose on the 16th and A Dog's Journey on the 23rd. Also, before the film on the 16th, they will be hosting a dog costume contest at Sweet Feed from 5 to 7 p.m. in St. Andrews, and judging will take place before the movie. All pets are highly encouraged to attend, but they must be on a leash. This event is free to the public. That's all the community events I've got for this week. Tune in next week for more. One of the best things about St. Andrews is that you can see live music every day. That's right, there is live music being played somewhere in St. Andrews 7 nights a week. Fortunately, my friend Ken Schaefer creates and publishes a weekly schedule for St. Andrews as well as most of Bay County. Ken's spreadsheet schedule is updated often when there's any changes. Ken also shares individual music events and is walking the walk and talking the talk when it comes to supporting live music. Not only does Ken supply the music schedules, but he attends several music performances a week and takes fantastic photos of the musicians. As a working musician myself, I feel blessed to have Ken and his wife Donna as treasured members of our local musical family. Make sure you like and follow Ken's page, Salty Sounds in St. Andrews, and Oh Boy Music on Facebook, so that you'll always know where all the live music will happen. Thank you so much, Ken, for everything you do. Sandi Wolf is the creator and the owner of The Little Village, located on 12th Street here in St. Andrews. If you've never been to Little Village, it's a place where there are no strangers, only friends you haven't met yet. It's known for having live music throughout the week, as well as afternoon and evening sets on the weekends. Finn's Island-style grub is located within Little Village, and they offer a wonderful fast-casual Caribbean-style dining experience. It's a waterfront place where you can trade in the sun and sand for shade and serenity on the deck, under the enclosed pavilion, or under their recently constructed Palapa Hut that overlooks Lake Ware. At Little Village, you can find items from around the world and from local artists. Much of their inventory comes from fair trade companies that pay above average wages to the craftsmen and give back to improving the living conditions of their communities. The staff affectionately calls it feel-good shopping, because chances are what you're buying is having a positive impact on someone less fortunate. Good morning, Sandi. Thank you for being here and starting your morning with us. How did you get the idea for Little Village?
That started very organically. I knew I wanted to be in St. Andrews for many years. I've loved St. Andrews. I first came in 1978 and had my first oyster at Hunt's Oyster Bar when it was in the original spot. And I just always loved the little village vibe it had and always wanted property there. And when I finally found the piece that we're on, everybody said, "What you going to do?" And I said, I had liked the concept of fair trade shopping. And I said, "I just want to go get things from little villages all over the world and handmade things." And I said, "Matter of fact, we'll just call it Little Village and it can be what it wants to be." Had no real concept of what it was going to be. So flying by the seat of our pants, we just kept going.
Well, it's definitely become something wonderful that is treasured by the community, including myself. It's one of my most favorite places to be, to eat, to shop, and of course to play music. So how did you decide where this would be? How did you come about going with that piece of land on Lake Ware? And I understand it used to be someone's home. I was wondering if you could give us a little backstory on that.
And it was someone's home, and I had looked in St. Andrews for years for property, but it was just too expensive, especially to be on Beck Avenue and for what I could invest. And I had found a small house a couple of blocks off of Beck, and I called the realtor, Catherine Miller.
Oh, I love Catherine.
I love Catherine. She loved music. It's just the universe put us together. And she said that house was just zone residential. And if you want to do something eventually commercial, you need to look into that. And she had one that had been on the market for a long time. It never sold. They had taken the sign down. And she said, but he may still consider selling. And she gave me the address. I drove over. I got out of the car. It was just the house and dirt, but the lake was back there. The beautiful oak trees, and I got chill bumps, and I said, "I don't know what you're going to be, but something's going to happen right here." And I made an offer and got the property, and the rest is history now.
And how long ago was that?
I bought the property in August of 2011, so it's almost 10 years. Started putting my little huts in, and that was the plan, 3 little huts. I've furnished the house and was going to stay in the house and have a weekend market. That was the initial plan. And I sold simply sarongs, and then Beth Davis sold her bath products. And that's all we had to start out with. But then more people started coming. They wanted to go in the house to use the bathroom, and then they wanted to buy everything in the house. And I said, let's just turn the whole thing into a store. And we just started the whole concept then of a shop snack. Listen.
Well, it's a wonderful concept. How did Finn's come into play at Little Village?
When we originally opened, we had a little smoothie shop in the front, which used to be the laundry room up there, but we converted it to the smoothie shop. And it was all green, organic smoothies, a little pricey, a little ahead of its time for this area. And it just, while it was holding its own, it didn't thrive. And then one night, Justin and Karen came in to Little Village, and they had their spot on the beach on Thomas Drive. And he said, "Man, we'd love to be over here if you would consider it." And I said, "Well, you really fit our whole concept and our vibe." And I said, "Let's give it a shot." And he said, "Oh, all we need is this little corner and one little armoire to put our canned goods in, and we'll be fine." We see what's happened from there. They've been very successful, and they've put out a lot of great food. And it's just been a great symbiotic relationship, as they say, that we help each other. We're one big happy family.
What's your favorite thing to eat from Finn's?
I'm on a restricted diet right now. I love the salads. I love the wind chopped salad with grilled chicken or shrimp on it. And they're going to kill me for saying this because I know it's hard to make them, but they do a keto burrito where they do the tortilla out of cheese, and you can put any of your fillings in there. And that's really good, but everything they have is good.
You mentioned earlier that a lot of the retail items come from little villages all over. Could you elaborate on where a lot of the items come from, and what is it like to curate which items go into your shop?
I've always had an eye for the unusual. When I walk in a place, I want something to jump out at me. And I like functional art as well. So if I can get it to be pretty and do something as well, that's great. But I used to go to Costa Rica a lot, and they would make jewelry for me sitting on the beach and, carve things. And I would always bring back a suitcase full of stuff from there. And it started out with Costa Rican things. And then fair trade got very popular, that basically guarantees that they'll give the artisans fair wages and a hand up instead of a handout. And they make sure they have good working conditions. And I love that whole concept, giving back that way and supporting local artists. Just between traveling and now that the Fair Trade Federation kind of puts that in your lap as far as where to get your fair trade items. There's a floor at the market in Atlanta where it makes it easier to shop as well. Just started that way and just try to find the coolest things I can find to share with everyone.
There's some wonderful things there. So you mentioned earlier that you came here in the 70s, right?
78.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And
Spring break.
Is that how you got acquainted here? How'd you get acquainted with this place?
Actually, I worked for a company. I was traveling, and I worked for a company that had my accounts for the Eckerd drugstores, which are now CVS. But back then, there was 2 Eckards here, and it was spring break when I came down. It was beautiful, and I decided to stay a couple of weeks, and I told my job I was taking a little vacation, and then I just never left. I'm 43 years still here.
Oh, it's a wonderful
Fell in
place
love with
to
it.
be. It really is.
It is. It's a great place to be.
And we're blessed to have you and the whole family at
Really?
Little Village. And what do you love about it here?
In St. Andrews particularly, it just reminds me of a little Key West. It's unpretentious. You can be sitting by a fisherman fresh off the boat next to a millionaire on this side, and everybody's the same kind of, they're open-minded, they're accepting, and it's just a great village vibe here. They're open-minded, they're accepting, and it's just a great village vibe here. It's to each his own. As long as you're a good person, we welcome you.
We all know that Hurricane Michael devastated this area in 2018. How's the recovery process been since that devastation at Little Village?
It's gone probably better for us than most folks. We did lose our back porch, but that just set up the beginnings of the Palapa that we put back there. And that's been such a blessing through COVID because it's open air. It covers us when it's raining now. We used to have to shut down for live music because we didn't have a covered spot, but it's truly been a blessing, and we've made some improvements. We still got a little work to do, as do a lot, but we do take it a little at a time, make a little money, spend a little money.
I love the Palapa. Every time I have friends who are here from out of town, that's usually one of the first places I take them. I say to them, we got to go eat there. We got to go sit on the Palapa.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I just took my friend Marisol from Colorado in there, and she absolutely loved it. I'm sure a lot of folks are wanting to know, how long did the building process take, and who did the construction of the Palapa?
We actually had a Native American. I wanted it authentic. Going to Costa Rica so much. I love their palapas down there, and they're very functional, and they can go up quickly. Ours took longer because we built over the water and had to set pilings and do the flooring and all of that. But typically they can get them up quite quickly once they frame it. And then they had cut 10,000 palm bombs from the swamps down south because they come up with, from the Miccosukee area. And they're true artisans, and to watch them work's just amazing. But they would lay the fronds out and let them dry and get pliable. And they built the frame, and then when they started thatching it, within a couple of days, we had a roof. So it was pretty amazing to watch.
I hear that Little Village is changing it up on Sundays and that y'all have brunch now. Is that right?
Finn's offers some brunch items now. And of course, we're known for our mimosas. We make some really good mimosas and sangria, and it just seems to go hand in hand. We've moved our music schedule up a little earlier now from 11 to 2, and then we do the open mic on Sundays 2 to 5. So it's just a good way to come relax and watch the mullet jump back there in the lake, setting in the Palapa. And usually have a good breakfast burrito, but they always throw something really interesting in there. So it's something different every Sunday. Just check out our social media and you can see what's going to be served that day.
Is there anything new or exciting coming up at Little Village we should know about?
Summers pretty much take care of themselves right now, but in the fall we'll start we're started this new series called 100 Miles of Music because we have such talent within 100 miles of Panama City, recording artists and and so on. But a couple of months ago, we started out with Grayson Caps, and in September, we're going to be bringing in a couple of good names that you'll recognize. It's still under wraps right now. We've got a new T-shirt line that we're starting at Little Village called Gomer, which is basically Gulf of Mexico environmental rescue, where we'll be giving back to organizations that help clean up the Gulf of Mexico. So just be watching our website for that, because we'll be launching it through Little Village.
Oh, that's awesome that y'all are doing that. And what are your hours? When's Little Village open, and how often can we see live music there?
Okay. We're open 6 days a week. We are always closed on Mondays because that's our day of maintenance and cleanup and everything. So we're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sundays we're open from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. And you get music every evening, Tuesday through Saturday, 6 to 9 p.m. On Saturdays, we add a 1 to 4 spot, and Sundays we have 11 to 2 for brunch, and then open mic from 2 to 5.
Little Village is the place to be for live music and to relax and have something to drink and something delicious to eat and fellowship with your friends. And
Sure
so,
thing.
Sandi, thank you so much for being here and for all the things that you and Little Village do for the community. I love y'all, and y'all are just a gem, and I don't know where we'd be without y'all.
Well, it's the people that built it. It's because they came and they enjoyed it and they support us, and we love being part of this community. We love having you there singing. We just, the smiling faces, we need it more now than ever, the music and all of it. Just come and share it with us.
How can folks find Little Village online and beyond?
We're on the usual Facebook. We have a website, Little Village PC. Same thing for the Facebook and Instagram. So you can find us there. Always see our schedule of music there and any events we have going on. And we're at 2808 West 12th Street, just behind Hunt's Oyster Bar, across the street there on the lake.
Awesome. You've heard it, folks. If you've never been to Little Village before, if you haven't ventured out into St. Andrews in a long while, then this is the place to be, especially on a Sunday. So, Sandi, thank you so much for being here and taking your time to come talk with us here at the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. I hope you have a great week coming up, and until then, keep St. Andrews salty. Have y'all ever heard of the Oyster King? He sounds like a guy I'd like to meet. Let's find out more about him as I read an article that was published in the St. Andrews Bay News, July 7th in 1928. Oyster King is freed. On June 30th, the doors of the federal penitentiary in Atlanta swung open, and out walked a man who had been confined within its walls for some time, a man whose case had gained nationwide attention, William Lee Popham, the famed Apalachicola Oyster King, who was sentenced to a prison term as the outcome of a company to push forward the propagation of oysters. In connection with his work as the founder of the movement, Popham was convicted of using the mails to defraud in getting stockholders in the company. The release of Mr. Popham came as a very special department order from Washington, and his supporters in Northwest Florida were very glad to learn of it. His theory of planting oysters on certain lands and thus have owned privately owned beds and enlarging the oyster supply has been adopted in a large measure by the state as proper oyster culture, and the holding he had acquired for his stockholders, it is believed, if left alone, would have eventually netted very large returns. Holy cow, y'all. I can't believe that this makes the end of episode 37. I'd like to thank everyone who's followed and shared the podcast with all their salty friends. If you haven't followed us, then please do. Next week, we've got Chase Pospichel, who I attended school with many years ago, and he's also a local singer-songwriter and poet. Have you seen our new YouTube series? It's called Salty Field Recordings, and it features videos showcasing several different local artists. The first 3 episodes feature Eli Ingram playing his original tunes, and there's a new episode out today. The next few episodes will feature original music by Chase. Please check it out on YouTube and subscribe so you'll know when all the new videos come out. The theme song was written by me, and it was recorded by Dave Schwartz at Boundless Sounds on the campus of Gulf Coast State College. The show was recorded by me in my music room. Till next time, keep St. Andrews salty.
Red lipstick, so thick, and a push-up bra. Tramp stamp, stretch marks, and a lacy thong, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.